Jam Bakery, where you can find the flavors of home-baked goods all day, every day. We thank you for your interest in working with us to share our goods with the community. Today, you will be learning one of our specialty items, our #1 seller, famous sticky bread.
Always remember to wash your hands frequently and thoroughly here at the bakery.
The first step in making our sticky bread starts with our homemade dough. First of all, we're going to add 2 cups of hot water. I already had 1 cup poured. And here's our 2nd cup. Then we're going to go into our yeast. We're going to need 1 tablespoon of yeast, which amounts to 2 packs. And the importance of adding the yeast to the hot water is that it activates the rising process. Next, we're going to add a 1/2 cup of sugar, 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 and 2, and then the final ingredient is 2 tablespoons of oil. Now that we have all of the ingredients in our big bowl, the last thing we need to add is 6 cups of flour. I already have 1 out here, so that is 1, and it's probably a good idea to count the cups as you pour them, because you can lose track of 6 cups. So that was 2. And when you're putting the flour in the cup, make sure you fluff it in, and you're not just grabbing 1 solid cup of flour. That was 3. And you want to fill it all the way to the top. That's 4, 5. Now that we have all the ingredients in our bowl, we need to mix them together. And it's important at this time to wash our hands because we need to mix it by hand. So it's important, since we just added all the flour, that the flour is all dry on the top, and that we need to get the water to the top of the bowl so that it mixes all together. Now that we have all of our ingredients mixed, including the flour, we need to knead it out. And what we're going to do is just take a little of our leftover flour and pour it on the counter so that the dough does not stick. And then we're just going to take this and plop it down. The kneading process gets all the air bubbles out so that the dough rises effectively. And needless to say, this might be the longest process in our dough making. Now we're going to set our dough aside, and we're going to let it rise for about 1.5 hours. And we're just going to set it under maybe some heat, and we're going to cover it so that nothing gets inside it. And while that's rising, we're going to work on our sauce. Now to bring the sticky bread together, we need to make our sticky sauce. So first, we're going to melt some butter in a pan, and then we're going to add 1 cup of brown sugar, like that, and then we're going to need 2 tablespoons of milk, then we're going to add 2 packs of 3-ounce Jell-O vanilla pudding to give our sauce some substance. It's 1 pack and there's 2. And then finally, for the flavor we want, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. And then mix that all together, and we have our sticky sauce.
Before we start laying down the bread, we need to spray the pan with some no-stick spray.
that we have our sauce heated up, let's add it to the first layer of our dough. We just poured the sauce on our first layer, and Jonathan's back with me again, and we're going to go ahead and start laying the second layer of dough.
Now that we let the sticky bread rise, we need to bake it on 350 for about 30 minutes. Alright, it's been 30 minutes. Let's check to see if we're done here. Yeah, it looks good. Let's let it cool for 5 minutes and then dig in.
Now that you've seen the steps of how to make our famous sticky bread here at Jam Bakeries, let's see you try.